I'm Matt Holman.
And I'm Matt Cole.
And welcome to day 5 of the 6 days of the 666 project.
Merry 666.
Happy 4th of 666 lie.
Okay, great.
It's a 4th of July. Okay, never mind.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So, the 666 project is a Halloween anthology show that happens at the Push Comedy Theater around Halloween time every year. This year, it will be opening on October 19th, the 20th, the 24th, the 25th, the 26th, and the 27th. And what we've done with the 6 days of the 666 project is we've basically brought together a series of interviews as well as audio versions of some previous pieces to help give you some insight into the creative process behind the 666 project.
Yeah, and for this one, we have an interview conducted by you, Matt Holman, interviewing me, Matt Cole, as well as Kat Danger. I have been a writer and director and performer, and Kat Danger has worked behind the scenes as assistant director and all kinds of stuff, as well as performer in the very original 666. So this is a really exciting interview, and you'll get to hear our thoughts on the whole thing. So
enjoy.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Matt Holman. I'm sitting down with two people that have been involved with the 666 project. We're going to go ahead and just talk a little bit about it and some of the different things that you can find out if you wanted to come out this year.
All right.
Yeah.
Opening night's going to be October 19th. So just go ahead and introduce yourselves and talk a little bit about what you've done with 666.
I am Kat Danger, and I was a performer in the very first inaugural 666 show. Woo! OG Squad.
Yeah.
And last year I assistant directed as well as stage managed, and this year I am assistant directing again.
Yeah. Hello, my name is Matt Cole. I was a writer for the first year. I've kind of run the gamut. Writer for the first year, as well as stagehand. I moved around a lot. I pulled my back, yeah. Second year, I was a performer. And third year, I was director. And director. Is that too many?
No, that's right, because you're a director this year as well.
Yeah, okay. This is going to be my third piece directing. Oh, geez, that's great.
Yeah. Good job.
Yeah, and I'm Matt Holman here. Oh, this is going to be a confusing interview.
Oh, God. Are you talking about yourself or me?
Are you talking Cat, Matt?
Oh, man. I did not think this
there's
through.
There's a lot of ats in
This is
the
a
room.
podcast right here. 2 Matts and a cat.
We could just call it the ats. Yeah, that feels.
Don't at me.
Oh, there we go. Oh, we could talk about like the tweets that we get. That,
oh my God.
Like, yeah.
Does that mean I have to set up a Twitter account?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hold
you
on.
Don't
Yeah.
have one?
I think I do. I just don't use it.
Same.
Yeah.
Well, then we could just talk about the fact that we don't have Twitter accounts because I have one, but it only has like 6 tweets on it.
I think people listen to that.
I don't even know if I know how to log into mine anymore.
I once quick sidebar here for this very heavily 666 interview based. I have like 6 tweets out there on my Twitter, and I found one of them recently because I screenshotted it because I thought it was the best tweet I've ever come up with. And it said, what did one zit say to the other zit?
Oh, I like this. I like zit humor.
It's hard out here for a pimple.
That's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm very, like I said, I screenshotted it because it's the best tweet I've ever come up with.
It might be the best tweet in the world. I don't know. It's pretty good.
Well, you and my 12 followers agree, I think. Anyways, so we're here to talk a little bit about 666. I'm Matt Holman. Wrote a piece, would have been 3 years ago now? No, 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And then I'm also second assistant directing with my good friend and collaborator, Matt Cole.
Hello.
And so, so Matt, what would you say was your favorite piece, either that you worked on or that you saw or that you were a part of? Because apparently you've just done everything.
Yeah. I think it's really hard. I didn't even think, I knew this question was I didn't even think of it. I'm going to have to go with the first year because I had no idea what the whole show was going to be like. Brad McMurrin, the producer and the owner of Push Comedy Theater, him and Sean Devereaux and the Pushers, his group, the Pushers, they had been talking about the 666 project and pitching it for a long time to where, and I had just like met them and they kept on talking about it, and I just thought it was like vaporware, like they would never get around to it because I was like, I don't know. And then out of nowhere, they're just like, hey, we're doing this year, we're doing it. And I was like, I don't know. So I submitted, I couldn't be in the show, I think because I may have been in another play like Macbeth or something. But I submitted a spooky piece called Swing Me, which actually Kat was in. It was only two actors, it was Kat and Noelle Peterson. And I just didn't know what to expect, and I didn't know, like, I hadn't done a whole lot of writing in general. I did some sketch writing, and to do something spooky, I kind of wrote it like a sketch, and I was like, how is this gonna like happen? And like, I'm gonna hand it off to somebody who's directing that's not me, and they don't know kind of what I was going for. But sure enough, like, sure as shit, like, Kat played the hell out of it, and it was directed by Garney Johnson. He directed the hell out of it. Then the whole show, just when that first night when it all came together, I got to see it, I was like, well, fuck. That's awesome. From talking about it and hearing it, pitched by Brad to like being a hit show like 5 years in a row, and that was amazing. And it's been great every year, but I think that'd be my favorite.
Okay, that's very insightful. I think it's interesting that you chose your own piece. Doesn't feel narcissistic at all, but
okay. Well, since you put that in there, I will say that every year it is quite a treat to see what Brant Powell has in store.
Yes.
He's a local writer, director, performer. He's one of the original, he was a Pusher. I'll leave it at that. I don't remember.
Might have been.
Please don't write in if he's not an original.
Sorry,
Pusher.
Brant. Anyways, but he does like something that's like not tragic comic, but like horror with a lot of comedy and farcical.
It reminds me a lot of like screwball comedies from the 1930s.
It's crazy, and it's so fun to see what he brings to the table every year. So if it's not my piece, I'll go with Brant. I'll shut up now.
It's fine to pick your piece. Just know that all of our listeners will judge you for it. It's
all about me.
I'm pretty sure all of your listeners are already judging you.
So, Kat, what about you?
I have to actually say Swing Me was one of my favorite pieces
No shit.
as well. Yeah.
There you go. 2 for 2.
Yeah, and it was the creepiest of the entire show, like of the 6 scripts. The first year it was the creepiest one, and I remember opening night walking out on stage, and I have had the first line in the scene, and I said the first line, which is just like a very normal, like, hello kind of line. And just the way that the script was presented, like I came out, I said the line, and the whole audience went,
No
like
way.
everybody just, cause the first show was fairly comedic. It had a couple of, scenes that like started funny and then got scary towards the end, but the show itself was fairly comedic, and that was the final piece in the whole production, and it was just straight creepy. And so everyone had kind of been having a good time and laughing. They're like, okay, everybody died at the end, but it was pretty funny up until everybody died. And then this one came out, and it just terrified everybody. And it was, I still talk about it to this day. Like my friends who came to see the show, they're like, yeah, no, that swing one, I'm still terrified. I think about it at night, and I'm like, yeah, good. I hope it scares you every time you think of it.
And real quick, I want to jump in, and that's actually, I don't think we ever talked about that. That's awesome. There was an actual swing on stage,
I remember,
which I think is pretty incredible. Garney Johnson, who directed it, he had somebody.
He had someone built it. I don't remember who built it, but he did have someone build it. And there was a night where it almost broke on stage, and it was terrifying. And so Noelle is supposed to sit on this swing, and for most of the piece, and it started to break, and her, being a genius, just started squatting because she couldn't sit on it because she was afraid she'd break the whole thing. And I'm pretty sure she just did a squat for a solid like 5 minutes. And I was like, well.
For those of you that don't know Noelle, she is in very good shape.
She is, yeah. She's a dancer, so she was just like, oh, this is fine.
And so, well, I'll go ahead and say my piece.
Yeah.
Continuing the thread here, The Smile Stealer was my favorite piece.
Who wrote that one?
That was written by me. It was directed by Alba Woolard. And beside the fact that I enjoyed the piece, the reason that it kind of sits with me is the month of 666 in 2017, I got pneumonia. And I was basically like locked in my house for 14 days. And like I had trouble breathing and things like that. And so I couldn't go anywhere and do anything. And I saw Smile Stealer the last night of 666. I forced myself out of the house to go see it because I was still, recovering from the effects of pneumonia. And I was sitting there right in the front row. And, I I remember watching it and I was just enraptured because they did such a beautiful job with it. And it was everything that I had imagined. It was unnerving. It was creepy. I remember sitting there, and the way the piece was constructed is it was like 3 scenes, and the first scene ended and there was just silence. Like the theater was packed. It was pretty much sold out, and silence. And I remember just hearing someone just go, after the second blackout and the third scene started up, they went, "Oh, it's not over yet." Because they were so unnerved and creepy and terrified. And I remember after the third scene, once again, complete silence, and then just huge applause.
Yeah.
And so it always has, beside the fact that it was my piece, it has a special place in my heart because, you know, like you mentioned when you were talking about Swing Me, you go and you write this thing and you turn it over to a director and you don't know how it's going to turn out. And it was everything that I thought it could have been. Nice. I used to say it's probably one of the most fulfilling artistic things I've ever had. Because I wrote something, I did nothing, and then it was great. like how many times can you say that about something you created, where you just wrote it, you put it out into the world, and it turned it out being awesome?
That's awesome. Yeah. Woo.
Yeah, and so that's probably my favorite. Once again, just continuing with the thread of narcissism that we've established here. So either you have any funny stories from your behind the scenes? Or anything like that? I know, Kat, you just shared that great one about the swing almost breaking and everything.
Yeah. So I really want to let people in on the oldest in joke about 666.
Yeah, go ahead.
And this is going to be an Easter egg in my in my show. So I hope people listen to this and then see the show and they're like, oh my God. But here we go. So there's a wonderful actor, named Rob Williams, who was in the first cast with Kat the very first year. And there's a script written by Sean Devereaux, one of the owners of the Push Comedy Theater, one of the pushers. And, it was a brilliant script about basically a slasher. And so it's these 2 people and they're running away from another slasher. And the guy reveals himself, like she thought he was a friend, but he was actually another like serial killer. Or, I don't know. Sorry to boil it down to that. But anyway, so Rob was the guy, and it was a really tense 2-person scene. And at some point, he's supposed to. Oh, and Noel was in that, right?
Yeah, Noel was in it. He was supposed to pull out his knife from his backpack. And kill Noel with it. And
this is an actory thing. It's like always check your props. Make sure you have that knife in there because how else are you going to kill him? Kill her. So he gets to the scene and he's like, I think he's on top of her, and it's the part where he opens up the bag and he's like, and his line is, "That's when I killed her with my knife." And you can see the look on his face, and I knew, doing a lot of acting, I see his eyes go wide, and I was like, oh shit, he forgot the knife. He didn't pack that knife, man. So his eyes go wide. And you can see his gears whirring, like, how am I going to sell this? And I fear for Noel's life, because I was like, my natural instinct would be to choke her and kill her, but I don't think he'd been trained in, like, stage combat. So he probably
not. We all kind of had the same thought, because I was backstage, and I was like, oh, okay, he forgot his prop. Choke her. Wait, does he know how to choke her safely? Oh, God.
Well, rest in peace, Noel. But no, he actually
Note for the listeners, Noel is not dead.
Just
want to clear that up.
So, no, he gave something even more creative. He said, "That's when I killed her with my boulder." And he didn't even, and we were like, boulder? What the? And he didn't even pull out a boulder. He pulled out a water bottle that he just happened to have in that backpack. So everyone's like, killed her with a boulder, but he pulled out a water bottle. What the hell is going on?
And then he did end up choking her. He ended up choking Noel.
So he described killing somebody else with a boulder, which was a water bottle, and he ended up choking her.
It was a mess.
It was insane.
It was beautiful. It's amazing.
So we love laughing about, and there's a little Easter egg this year in my piece I'm directing that, I don't know, maybe somebody.
Everyone has a boulder moment. It happens. And that's why you always check your props.
Yes. So beside talking about our upcoming podcast about Twitter, this is also just good for advice for any actors out there. Yes. It's a multi-purpose interview here, guys. Well, you have any other stories beside the swing one?
Oh, gosh.
So you've worked behind the scenes in other capacities as well.
I have. All my good stories are from year one, was when I was in it, though, because there was also one of the scripts was Brant Powell wrote it, and it was the Richard Parker Titanic scene.
Would you mind elaborating just a little on that for some of our listeners?
So it takes place on a on a
life raft.
Life raft. Thank you. On a life
Laughter.
raft.
Life raft.
It takes place on a life raft, and it's a bunch of people who have just escaped the sinking of the Titanic, and we're like watching it sink in the distance, and someone starts talking about Edgar Allan Poe and all of these coincidences with Poe's stories and a character named Richard Parker who turns out was a real person, and then a real Richard Parker shows up, and again it's a Brant Powell, so it's very zany comedy horror, which I like to call homedy, like a horror comedy. So it's this crazy zany piece, and at the end we all turn into Edgar Allan Poe zombies. And we put on these latex Edgar Allan Poe full head masks. Well, the main character in that scene, played by Nancy Dickerson, was allergic to latex.
Oh my, yeah.
Yeah. And so they had to rig like a bicycle helmet with the mask on top of it so she wouldn't have to put it over her face because she would die. And it ended up being this great, hilarious, because she was like the tallest Edgar Allan Poe zombie, and it ended up being this great, hilarious, happy accident because it was so funny for this absolutely ridiculous scene, and it was just wonderful. A lot of people almost die in the production of 666. Is that a thing?
Who knows? This might be the first year where it will no longer be almost. Okay, so it looks like we are nearing the end. So let's go ahead and do a quick lightning round.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you a couple questions, throw out whatever your heart desires, whatever speaks to you. So first question, what's your favorite scary movie?
Hellraiser. Pain is pleasure.
That's the one with the dude with all the pins, right?
Pinhead. Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
Awesome.
He has pins in his head.
Yeah.
Love it.
What about you, Kat?
Evil Dead 2.
Okay.
Yeah. It's my favorite horror movie of all
That would
time.
that would fit in with 666 Project.
It would, yeah. It's a homedy.
So I've never seen Evil Dead 2, but once I was at a Halloween party and was playing over and over again on a loop. That's all. That's the whole story.
It's a good story, man.
Okay, well then, if you could be any like slasher from a movie, which one would you be?
Oh, Freddy Krueger. For
Really?
sure.
Why Freddy Krueger?
Because he's one of the few slashers with a personality.
Yeah.
And he's just, I mean, I would probably not like murder children, but I like after all of that happens and he just starts like murdering like teenagers. Then he's pretty cool.
So your threshold for murdering starts at 13.
I mean, like once they hit puberty, then they're fair game. Yeah, I have morals. Okay, I have a code. Okay, they have to at least have gone through puberty before.
And like most good slashers, all have some kind of code governing them. So what about you, Matt?
I actually like yours a lot. I want to steal mine because like he's like the king of dreams. Like you can do whatever you want. And he's very creative in his killings. My initial instinct was the Scream killer.
Ghostface.
Ghostface. Just because it's like I kind of like meta stuff and like the whole commenting on that sort of thing. I guess it's a comment on my own pitiful life, but.
Okay.
Well, this got dark.
Well, if you could murder one person, who would it be? And you can't say me.
I have to pick just one?
Yeah, just one.
Apparently Noelle. We kept trying to kill her a lot that first year, I guess.
It's like your subconscious is trying to tell you.
I love you, Noelle. I don't want you to die. But if you had to die, I would kill you.
Aw, that's sweet. What about you, Matt?
I'd travel back in time and murder Adolf Hitler. Duh.
Oh, that's the correct answer. Sorry, Noelle.
Gotcha. And I'm assuming I have a time machine.
Yeah. I'd actually that was one of the things I forgot to mention is you don't have a time machine.
No, I'll still murder Adolf Hitler.
That's the
There's
right answer.
There's got to be one in the world.
You've won the lightning round, Matt. There was a competition I forgot to mention. So what would be something just as we wind down here for our last thing? If I'm an audience member and I've never seen the 666 Project, what would be something you'd want the audience to know before going in?
I think it's an anthology, so that means there's 6 sometimes vastly different pieces. So like and I don't think anybody's going to walk out of it, but like if the first one doesn't really like float your boat, stick around for the next one because honestly it's like it's really different. Like I said, it's like you got a farce, you got a really scary one, you got a psychological horror, you got straight up comedy, that sort of thing. And it's gonna be really fun. Bring a friend because it's gonna be fun to ask your friend what their favorite was, because I guarantee it's probably gonna be different than what your favorite was, and the one that your friend hates is the one that you love. It's fun to talk about in anthologies, I think.
What about you, Kat?
I'd be ready for anything because it could be terrifying. It could be hilarious. It could be anywhere in between. So yeah, be ready for anything and be ready to talk about it because it's fun. Like Matt said, it's fun to talk about. It's fun to see which one was your favorite, which one did you hate, all of that kind of stuff.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you both for sitting down for this interview. We're going to go ahead and just talk a little more about 666 Project for this year. So opening night is October 19th. We'll also have a show on the 20th, and then we will run shows on the 24th, 25th, 26th, and 27th. These are all at 8 p.m. And guess what? There's 6 shows. Ooh. I know, it's spooky.
It's like they planned it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, let's go ahead and close this out. Everyone make your favorite scary noise.